Good morning, folks. The real Captain Kirk here, live from Weather Trends 360 studio here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It is a snowy Monday morning, the 2nd of December. If you're frustrated with the snowfall forecast, you're not alone. Meteorologists are always frustrated with the models as well. Just a week or so ago, the models were saying maybe an inch here locally, and then they upped it to 15 inches, while another European model said nothing. And then as the US GFS model backed off, the Euro jumped in. And so we've gone from 1 to 15 to 3 to 9 to 5. It's a moving target. This is traditional meteorology physics. If you just had one drop, one storm, this would be easy physics to predict this. The reality in meteorology and computer models as they are today, the Euro, the GFS, the Canadian models you've heard about, is that you have millions and millions of little interactions to predict here. So this is what physics meteorological models try to attempt to predict. Oh, by the way, you not only go at the surface, you have to go about 50,000 feet in the atmosphere. So if one of these little tiny storm perturbations is a little stronger than expected in the models, then everything can be impacted. So that's why your snowfall forecast is a moving target. It's constantly changing with new data 2, 3, 4 times a day. So that's why, again, we say it's mission impossible with this traditional physics meteorology. Real quick, I thought we'd start to talk about the Great Lakes ice coverage, because this does have an impact on lake effect snow this time of year. Right now, only a little tiny blob of solid ice up there around Black Bay and Lake Superior. Pretty typical, so only about 0.2% of the lakes have ice right now. This will increase pretty rapidly here in the months ahead. As long as the lakes are ice-free, then you can have some massive lake effect, downstream lake effect snows. As cold air comes over these warmer waters, then again, strong lake effect downstream. So it's something to talk about here in the weeks ahead. Looking at snow cover across the U.S. this morning, it's pretty epic. Off the scale, 46.3% of us supposedly have snow on the ground this morning. It's the most in 16 years, much above average. So very high snow totals. We're going to lose some of that here with a milder trend here setting up for next week or two. But we'll see if we can bring some of this back in time for Christmas. Looking at the snow to season to date here, again, a lot of snow across the country here. So U.S. Snowfall Index is 17.9% more than last year, 63% above average. So a very snowy start, to say the least. Third snowiest in 30 years. We can look at this in kind of a graphical text. So again, snowiest nationally in terms of the amount of snow since 1996. So we have to go way back to see this much snow this early in the season. So ironically, for Northeast snow lovers, 96, 97 wasn't that bad of a snowy winter. So just because the national snow is off the scale doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be snowy here in the Northeast. We do think it'll have its moments, brief, intense winter. Looking at this is where the models can start to make you panic because they are predicting a lot of snow here in eastern PA and central northern New Jersey, and right now virtually nothing in that area. So this is the problem with nor'easters, is that little sucker hole, as it's frequently called here. If you don't have snow and you want it, you can get a little nervous here. But the heavy snow is expected here, late morning into the evening rush hour. So the Philly, New York areas into Boston, certainly a nightmare Monday drive or commute back home if you're heading back from the Thanksgiving holiday. Looking at the snow map, so again, these are estimated snowfall totals here through 7 o'clock tonight. And then you see that storm exiting the northeast. Pretty much most of this will be over pre-dawn Tuesday in the northeast. Then Wednesday, a little bit of lake effect. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then run through these one more time. So the big storm in the northeast, and then winding down tomorrow, and then just lighter snow as we go through the rest of the week here in the northeast. So again, lots of snow to talk about here today. This is the official outlook here, showing again, I think this has been dwindling a bit. It's been waffling, so it's gone from very heavy to less, and then now backed off a little bit from last night. Last night went pretty crazy with a pretty big, snow totals here in the eastern PA, New Jersey areas. But again, backed off a little bit. Still the first good snowstorm of the season here, so we'll hopefully folks get what they want. If we look at this is just model snowfall estimates again, so northeast and parts of the higher elevation of the Rockies, even though it's mild out there, still snow in those higher mountains. Next week's systems looks like it's probably going to be in the upper plains, Minneapolis, Green Bay, South Dakota, and those areas here next week. Looking at this week overall, we'd say it's 3.6 degrees warmer than last year, 12th warmest in 30 years, above average nationally. Map inset left there is the temperature trends versus last year. So cold along the East Coast, both versus average versus last year, and then very, very warm versus a year ago for the western two-thirds of the country. Driest in 9 years, fifth driest in 30 years, below average national precip. Again, you can have below average precip, but still have a lot of snow to talk about. So snowfall is the most in 6 years and well above average for the nation as a whole. Jumping ahead to next week, which second week of December, 9 through 15 December. Just a tad colder than last year nationally, but still 14th warmest in 30 years, a bit above average. The cold spot's going to probably be in the upper plains, upper Midwest, while the East Coast gets a little bit of a moderating trend. So a lot of the snow we do get, well, a lot of it will melt, except for maybe in New England, but anywhere here locally in the eastern PA, New Jersey area, a lot of your snow is going to go bye-bye. Wettest in 11 years, much above average precip next week. Snowfall more than last year, but average nationally, again, that upper Midwest is one spot. If you're not happy with the snowfall projections here, you can blame my little one. She has her little snow wand, and she's been waving it all weekend long and saying snow, 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 snow. So obviously kids just love snow. I think we made the meteorologist, we actually made the Home Depot folks a little nervous when a meteorologist walks into the Home Depot and buys the snow shovels. So little one makes her funny face here when Daddy says snow, so she gets all excited. And then so she's got her shovel, got our orange Home Depot shovel ready for the snowstorm, and this past weekend her and Mommy made a gingerbread house, so had fun doing that while it was still a pretty nice weekend. So with that, folks, we will end, and hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe in the snow, and we'll be back here this time next week.